Здравейте на всички, аз съм Хантер и добре дошли в 116 епизод от поредицата ми на Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. Намираме се където завършихме миналия епизод, именно в този така наречен флеш маркет, където се продават същества, живи за съжаление и със съзнание от всеки различен плейн, така да се каже. Сега трябва да си говорим с този неговия интерпретатор, защото имаме и друга работа, освен че освободихме Searcher. Видим още какво имаме. The blind tiefling interpreter bows before you politely and translates his master's grumbling. Тоест този тип въобще, той принцип... той ни каза, че той говори само неговия си език и никакъв друг. Masters greets you and wishes you good trading. Address the tiefling. Are you Zax's slave? The demon bursts into indignant gurgling. Even without understanding a single word, you quickly conclude that he is displeased. Master Sarzaxis wishes you to cease your attempts to bypass him and communicate directly with his property. The provenance of his property is a matter of concern to Master Sarzaxis alone, no one else. I'd like to see your slaves. Tiefling's voice is emotionless and fails to convey the arrogant notes you hear in the demon snorting. I'm afraid Master Sarzaxis must reject your offer. All his slaves were caught to satisfy personal requests by the most esteemed upper city residents. Master Sarzaxis is the most influential of the slavers, and he can't afford to waste his time on something as pointless as negotiating with a stranger. Добре. The interpreter bids you farewell with a polite bow. Master won't keep you any longer. He wishes to state that he found this conversation very entertaining. He wishes you fruitful trading and good meat in your cages. Slave Trader. Welcome to the flesh markets. Така. Вечер Каптън Гристов. Какъв си ти, приятелчи? A lean old man with his back as stiff as pike staff casts a piercing look at you. His grey hair and luxurious sideburns grant him an imposing and significant demeanor. Greetings, I am Count Christoph Rowan. I have the honor of serving as a venture captain of the Pathfinder Society. Heading the branch of the society in Oceanera and its adjacent territories. If you need the services of Pathfinders, I can be of assistance. Casting a sharp look at you, Christoph hands you a sealed letter. I admit, your appearance here did not surprise me, because I recently received this letter. It is addressed to you, and I have held it in anticipation of your arrival. The letter appears in the rough but legible handwriting of a person who doesn't write often. Greetings, Commander. I'm sorry to bother you with any requests when you're busy with difficult and dangerous mission, but my situation is extremely serious. I have found the trail of the Spinner of Nightmares. Her agent in Nerosian fell into our hands and revealed during interrogation that the last known lair of the Spinner was in Oceanera, in a block called the 10,000 Lights. Knowing the habits of the Spinner of Nightmares, I'm inclined to believe that she used to live in the heart of a giant brothel. My poor Laurie might still languish in this horrible place. I'm begging you to look for her or any traces of the Spinner. Обаче не ни казва от кой е това нещо. Хилор. How did Hilor deliver this letter to you? Christoph smiles with amusement. The Pathfinder Society has many agents across many different planes. They, along with a touch of magic, provide us with the most widespread and effective mail delivery service you can imagine. Internet? Email? Добре. Take the letter. Handing you the letter, Christoph offers a formal note. My duty has been done. Skill Partner. Така, тук можем да си дигнем левелите наново. I want to help the society by providing funds. Tell me about yourself, първо. I'm a noble, a good Asmodean and a Pathfinder who earned the honor of being sent with the most unwanted task to the most repulsive point in the world, and ready to provide you with a few good fighters. What else are you interested in? Who are you? The old man lifts his chin and carefully strokes his amazing sideburns. Christoph Rolano of Long March, here Dietry, Count of Cheliax, and venture captain of the Pathfinder Society at your service. The Pathfinder Society has long planned to open a branch in the Abyss. For obvious reasons, such an appointment didn't make anyone especially happy. However, as people of honor, we Pathfinders of my lodge couldn't let squeamishness stand in the way of duty. All of us volunteered for this mission, and then the Deceiverate chose me as the most suitable candidate. Why were you sent to the Abyss? The venture captain shrugs. To buy slaves, of course, or rather redeem slaves. The Pathfinder Society sent me to provide help to dwellers of Gladiators who have been enslaved by demons. Every day I go to the slave market with a bag of gold, and I return to our shelter with a crowd of poor folks whose freedom I managed to buy. Unfortunately, there are always too many slaves and too little gold. We send the ones we save to Gladiators. Some of them are opportunists and fighters who are unlucky enough to be imprisoned. They are grateful to the society and are ready to provide services to repairs for their rescue. When people who are looking for mercenaries contact me, my charges go to serve them, and the payment for their services fills our coffers for continued redemption of slaves. What you do is merciful. I personally think that an enemy has to be fought against, not traded with, but the management of the society did not heed my advice. What's it like living in the Abyss? Christoph scans the landscape slowly, with dignity, and then says demurely, abominable. The Abyss is a savage place, where everything that can be designed in a wrong way is. Everything is clear. I want to help the society by providing funds. The society has fixed charity rates, preventing corruption. I personally find this practice very wise. A donation for the prisoners of the Abyss is 50,000 gold coins. The price is high, but if it will give freedom to the unfortunate, so be it. Base profit is not worth more than a life. Добре. Give Bristol for Lamo 50,000 gold coins. Handle this gold wisely. The Count respectfully takes the money from your hands. The Pathfinder Society is grateful for your help, Commander. The unfortunate folk enslaved by demons will glorify your name throughout the Abyss. Добре. Значи до тук само от разходка сме Have a good day, Commander. Само от тази разходка сме 80 000 назад. Добрата новина е, че имаме 503 000. Аз си мислех, че имаме по-малко. Аз си мислех, че имаме 400 и нещо хиляди. Добре тогава. Тъмън да ги поразтоварим малко. Да не кажат, че само трупаме голд. Така. Това бяха някакви кинти тук. Skilled Gladiator, Slaves. Така, този тип трябва да говорим с него със сигурност. Трябва да говорим с Jun the Slave Trader. Какви са ни всъщност квестите? Traces of Shadow. Captain Hiller is certain that the spinner of nightmares had a hideout in Oceanier's place. Look in 10,000 delights. The city's pleasure quarter. Добре, значи някъде тук трябва да я намерим тази. Друго. Mercy. Buy the Asimar prisoners. Is about to arrive at the flesh markets. He has begged the commander to save them. Така. Шамира. The mistress of Oceanier. Демек тази тук, така не. Арамиса. Заксис. А къде е тази? Should they be snapped up by the most likely buyer, Shamira, the mistress of Oceanier? Now is the time to decide which is more important. Saving of innocents is also hampering the plans of the most influential person in the city after Antikula herself. Определено ще прецакаме плановете. Въпросът е как. Въпросът е как да стане така. Правим сейф. Ще говорим с всички тук. Трябва да се върнем и в града, сега се сетих, за да изготвим плана за... О! Тук да прочетахме страшно много работи. A stern-looking demon stands before you, bristling with what seems an arsenal of weapons, and his copious scars suggest he's been hacked to pieces more than once. Това е този... е бил връщан, т.е. този е гладиатор такъв, така. His face is hidden under a grotesque obsidian mask, attached to his flesh by thin straps ending in hooks. The hooks are threaded into the skin, and the wounds bleed profusely as if inflicted mere moments ago. The mask resembles a sinister black mollusk enveloping the face of its victim. When he speaks, the slaver's voice is muffled. Greetings, stranger. I am Willow, legend of the battle bliss. Are you looking to buy some battle slaves, or do you need weapons for yourself and your servants? The young cleric resolutely stares into the slaver's eyes. My brother Trevor was abducted by a demon in a black mask. Was that you? Willow sniffs the air. Well, that face, that scent. Yes, I remember him. He was a strong fighter, a dangerous one. I made good money when I sold him. Where is he now? To whom did you sell him? Answer me, you monster. Don't be so rude, young mortal. Unless you want to meet your death sooner than you expected, I have only one buyer, the Battle Bliss. Do you want to know what became of him? Find out at the arena. In the arena? Seal looks at you stricken. So these beasts made him... Oh, Shelin. What cruel mockery, but he's still alive, and that is all that matters. We can't waste time. We must get him out of there before it's too late. Who are you? I am Willow, Black Mask. I was the champion of the arena, and I fought and killed in the name of my mistress Shamira. I worshipped her. I was her slave and her bodyguard. She was flattered by the many killings dedicated to her honor and by the short shouts of the crowd chanting her name. But then I had a dark revelation. I realized Shamira was not worthy of my worship. She owned me. But my true mistress was the one that entered the arena with me, her hand in mine. Death. So I dedicated my next victim to her instead of Shamira. My mistress was enraged. She arranged a fight in the arena, one I had no hope of winning. I was hacked, cut, torn apart, choked, ground to dust by magic, and impaled on spears. But still, I did not die. My remains were stitched back together piece by piece. Death was with me that day, and I returned even more powerful. But the fights lost their appeal after that. An immortal gains no glory fighting mortals, so I left the arena, and I no longer kill by my own hand. Now I offer my gifts to death by the hands of the gladiators I train. I take their names and their dreams, and in return I give them weapons and the dark revelation of death. What is this mask you wear? The first champion fought wearing this mask. The final champion will fight wearing it on the day this world ceases to exist. In this mask, I was invincible, and I conquered the battle bliss and made all Shinira bow before me. I thought to pass it to Gelderfang, my apprentice, but despite his many talents in the art of killing, he loved his life far too much. He was afraid of death, too frightened to fight me and take the mask. He is not the true gladiator. He is not a true gladiator. Not a real champion, but no one aside from the true children of the arena is capable of understanding this. This mask is strikingly different from the ones we are looking for to solve the riddles in nameless ruins. Still, it's unique. I would like to examine it. Honored demon. Hand it over immediately for an experiment. I promise to try not to break it. No. Please? No. I'll mention your name in my encyclopedia. Over my dead body. Fine. Daniel turns to look at you, expectation in her eyes. Daniel, give it a rest. But what about the experiment? Daniel lowers her head, and for a brief moment you think she may burst into tears, but the next moment she raises her head and looks at you without any hint of what just happened. Show me the weapons you're selling. My gladiators come from a range of planes and are accustomed to fighting in different styles, so I have quite a wide selection. I am positive you will find something that fits your hand, no matter how many hands nature gave you. The slaver chuckles, pleased with his own joke. The items I have here are the best examples of Nahijian weapons and armor. Why do you keep calling them Nahijian? Rumors have been going around about some magical Nahijian crystals that grant immense power to their owners. No one knows for certain where they come from or what they really are, but everyone desires them. Illusioneer has become obsessed with all things Nahijian. That's why everyone in Illusioneer calls top quality goods Nahijian now. Show me what you've got. Exterminator, Great Sword, плюс 3. Добре, слава, значи. Сега ще направим също, ние трябва да продадем някакви неща, само да видим какво има тук. Плюс 5 сай. За жалост не ни върши работа. Плюс 5 слинг став. Но Джако и Пейлър. Интерсептор. Плюс 2 attack and damage rolls, attacks of opportunity. If an attack of opportunity results in killing blow, the wielder can make one extra attack during the next round. 111 000. Night Flash. Плюс 5. Тонги, Фалката. Frostbite. Плюс 5 Icy Burst Bastard Sword lands an attack of opportunity, the enemy must pass or become paralyzed. Net the hit on enemy following effects randomly happen and deals additional unexpected resolution. Deals additional 6d6 slashing damage. Deals another 4 damage to one of the enemy's ability scores. It heals the enemy. It deals 3d4 damage to the wielder. When enemy suffers minus 3 penalty to attack and damage rolls. Не ме кефи това. Меч. Short sword. Longbow of Leeching Strike. Bleed longbow confirms critical hit. The enemy suffers another 6 direct damage for every 5 feet. The enemy travels for 2 rounds. Involuntary movement included. Leeching Strike. Bleed. Трябва да се признае, че този лък е силен. Джавелин на плюс 5. Sky Scorcher. Mobility. Also stuns flying enemies. Man. Divine Dismissal. Mighty Advisor. Сега. Нашия човек няма дуарвен ларакс. И това е първият дуарвен ларакс, който аз виждам. Плюс 4 Dragon Bane дуарвен ларакс. Double Sun Inside Bonus to attack and damage the wielder might have. И мисля да я вземе тази брадва. Така че тази брадва я купувам. Той може да я носи, нали? Може, естествено. Добре. Holy Devotee's Wrath. Плюс 3. Славо. Two Bladed Sword. Winter's Mark. Two Bladed Sword. Чувствам. Добре. Даваме 99 000 за тази брадва. Така, сега аз Shared Stash. Това се продава, това се продава. Long Spear, тези неща. Short Bow, Short Sword, тия всичките глупости. Скинтър на плюс 4, който му трябва. Heavy Crossbow на плюс 4. Определено не ни е нужен. Тази броня, тази броня. Chain Shirt на плюс 4. Падат армора, ще го запазим и ролата също. Че не се знае. Така. Плюс 3. Аз не знам колко такива клоука ми трябват сега в Resistance. Чакайте, ще го запазим. Има един на плюс 3. 3 на плюс 2. Това, значи трябва да се приберем първо в Fine Vigor. All evil creatures summoned. Сега. Evil Creatures Summoned. Ние имаме някой, който всъщност прави такова нещо. Jaws of the Jackal. Profane Vigor, Greater Profane. Tana Demon. They granted a great Profane Vigor. Добре, тия ще ги запазим за сега. Плюс 3 Bracers, не ни трябва. Тук Intelligence. Така, тази за електричеството. Оп, още Intelligence, който не ни трябва. Леко Dexterity. Dexterity Constitution ще запазим за сега. Тези неща не ни трябват със сигурност. Resourceful Magus. If the wearer of these gloves has an arcane pool class feature, it is increased by 5 points. Нямаме такъв човек. Плюс 2. Тук трябва да продадем примерно 2 пръстена. Другото го пазиме за сега. Брони неща. Добре. Тук какво има? Плюс 4 Flowing Half Plate. Плюс 5 Bonus Reflex. In addition, when the wearer makes successful reflex, against an attack that normally deals half damage on successful save, they instead take no damage като evasion. Аз имам пръстен, който го прави това нещо. Така, тук тази light броня изглежда много добре. Плюс 4 bonus reflex saving throws, плюс 10 competence bonus на mobility. Reflex saving throws, 10 mobility. Royal Messenger. Light shield. Provoke с shield bash, dealing 2d6. Damage to the attacker, whenever the wielder is critically hit. Аз не искам да ме critical hitват при някакви ситуации. Promise of Greatness. First spell cast in any combat bolstered, as though using the bolster spell feat. Additionally, all enemies in 5 feet of the spell targets are dealt 2 damage per die. Medium armor. Тази броня не е лоша за... Чакайте сега, кончето. Exquisite. Плюс 3. Тя тая хевито е много по-добра всъщност. От тая четворка. О, не. Значи няма да я купувам определено. Чакайте сега, Social. Promise of Greatness. 3 максимум Dexterity. Обаче тук имаме 3 Armor Check Penalty, за съжаление. Но пък това ще му подсили магиите. Та броня не е никак лоша. Плюс 4 броя. По-скоро може би да не си я взимам все още. Headbutter's Helm. The wearer of this helm successfully charges an enemy. The enemy must pass reflex saving throw, suffer минус 2 penalty на AC. And attack rolls за 3 рунда. Това е много як член, да му се не види. 4 enchantment bonus, dexterity strength. Не, това е can be equipped. Аха. Така, значи 4 на strength и dexterity. Wherever the wearer of this belt lands a killing blow, they gain a plus 5 morale bonus on their next attack roll. Display of power, 6 strength. Минус 2 пеналти на Will Saving Throws. Това е много хубаво. Display of Power. Gold coin for motioneers, flash markets. The marks engraved on the coin depict another coin. Така. Сега въпросът е да го вземем ли това Display of Power? Да го дадем на джуджавката и той да започне да прави мега много демидж. Това е истинския въпрос, който ме кара да се чудя. Ще им смъкне, защото той е с четворка, това ще му даде 6 strength. 15 full tower that makes all enemies които им спадат 2 Willow saving throw. Въпросът е дали ми се дават толкова много хиляди пари. 457. Ние вече сме назад с парите някакси. Не мисля ще да инвестираме в това, колкото и да е хубаво. Няма да го взема това. Прекалено много голче да дадем за разни работи. Така. Брадват. Сега какво имаме тук? Да, тази брадва му беше от самото начало. Сега ще му сложим негова си брадва хубава. Дуарвен Ларакс. Плюс 4 Agile, плюс 4 Dragon Bane. Добре, Mighty Advisor. Идеално. Харесва ми. Тази сколда. Тя какво правеше Cone of Cold? Ако направиш Critical Hit, тя не кой знае колко добра тази брадва. За сега ще я запазим, обаче няма да я продавам. Тук има доста неща, за трябва да го измислим дали ще ни трябват, няма ли да ни трябват. Имунити на acid. Това е лошо. Become sickened and vulnerable for acid. Значи ето клок по-скоро няма да го използвам. Нека да го продадем на него. Така. О, аз друго му казах. Да му се не види. Show me the ones you're selling. I'm selling death itself. Death lurks in my gladiators' hands and in their eyes. They can kill so swiftly. You will not even see them strike. They can kill so slowly. Their opponent's death makes the spectator shiver in ecstasy. And they embrace their own deaths with such dignity that their names soar from the lips of the crowd into the dark sky, straight into the hands of merciful death. Gladiators, a mix of all races and ages, do indeed look tough and dangerous. Their powerful bodies, bloodthirsty gazes, and deft yet casual grips on their weapons show them to be true masters of their art. They resemble a pack of predators at rest before a bloody hunt, where they will rip, tear, and gut their prey. The glances they exchange are aimable but not warm, for tomorrow each may have to kill the other in front of the screaming crowd. Show me the weapons your checks out. There is glory to be gained by fighting in the arena, you say. Добре. Show me the weapons you're selling. Така, исках да продам клок. Ето този. 10 хилки. Идеално. Така. Сейфчи. Добре. Сега работата е, че като го гледам този и се чудя да го биеме ли, да не го ли биеме. There is glory to begin by fighting in the arena, you say. There certainly is. Gladiator fights are the most popular entertainment here in Oceania. There's no better way to acquire fame and glory than to step into the battle bliss and take another's life. If your slaves are that good in a fight, why don't they rebel and free themselves? The arena is their home, the other gladiators their family, and the fight's their sole purpose in life. Fighting is their only path to glory and carefree life of luxury, but to win in the arena you need a distinguished and influential master who will provide you with an experienced trainer, good weapons, decent food, skillful lovers to solve your wounds. But would such a distinguished and influential demon take on just any no-name wannabe? Of course not. That's why, when a demon wishes to purchase a gladiator for the arena, they come to me. And the best fighters pay enormous sums to become my slaves and trainees. I am their only hope of making it to the top. Greybor, who has been studying the gladiators closely all this time, nods grimly to himself. I've seen a lot of warriors in my life, and I have to say that these are not fighters. They are pompous roosters, strutting about the place. They are similar to pleasure slaves, but instead of graceful dancers with veils, they dance with blades. May look impressive, but there is no more warrior spirit in them than there is true love in Harlot's embrace. Добре. Така. Толкова с по неговия случай. Така, портала е тук. Трябва да говорим с останалите слейв трейдери. Тук. Тази. Някаква мандрагора. Мандрагора да мисля да слейв трейдер. Добре, няма да видим се. Този обаче там може би трябва да го биеме. Ама ще видим първо, може би от квеста на Социал да ни се наложи да го биеме, така че... The eyes of the translucent Merilith carefully observe her surroundings. It seems this is not merely an image, but a projection of the creature's consciousness. While her physical body is located somewhere far from here. Тя не е тук. Next to the Merilith figures a shriveled mandrake, which utters the occasional displeased shrike. Visitor from another plane. I am Missa, also known as Lodgeskin. And I am no simple vendor, but the true artist of the slave trade. My warehouses currently stand empty, but we can always arrange for a custom order. What would you like to acquire? Perhaps your enemy's son or daughter, bound by magic and powerless in the face of anything you might wish to do to them? An attractive person who once dared to reject you? The little brat who bullied you as a child? A Lucianira is the city where all your dreams come true. The Meredith licks her lips, especially if they are dirty, bloody, and sweet dreams of possession or revenge. So what I see standing here is just your projection. Certainly, it's not safe to appear in the flesh markets in person, especially for someone like me. You see, before I switched to this line of work, I was humble gardener. I used to grow mandrakes. The Merilith pats her ugly pet on the head. It's a well-known fact that mandrakes grow if you water an ordinary weed with demon blood, or if you plant it in a demon's corpse. The allies, lovers, and masters of those I turned into fertilizer are still searching for me. Thus, I conduct my business remotely. In the same way, when I have slaves to sell, I first show their projections, and only after they are sold do I deliver them to the buyer. What do you mean by artists of the slave trade? While others trade for material gain, I do it for art. Unlike others, I am not involved in the faceless shipment of goods. Each slave who passes through my hands has a personality. Each sale is a spiritual experience. Not long ago, I sent my hunters to track down and capture a brave rebel fighting for the freedom of his people, and then I sold him, chained and dressed as a pleasure slave, to the tyrant who had enslaved his homeland. Some might call it cliché, but I call it classic. Добре, напускаме. Щом е projection, няма смисъл да я нападаме, тъй като ние няма да можем да направим нищо. Така или иначе. Така, тук какво беше сега? Ние бяхме тук всъщност. Тук няма нищо друго. Е така. Има някакъв път насам, май. Или няма всъщност. Може би трябва да сме тук. И това нещо да дойде насам, за да можем да отидем в онази посока. Добре, ще се върнем след малко да видим. Нека да говорим сега с останалите тук, които не сме видяли все още. Кребус. Това ще не е познато, между другото. Някой май ни каза да говорим с него. Сега ще видя. Тук сейваме постоянно, защото разговор след разговор не знам къде може да объркаме нещо. Тук, в принцип, всичките искам да ги убия, ама... The tall tin vendor is swathed in a loose black robe. He's not a demon, but it is impossible to determine his race. His expressionless and hairless face is covered in tattoos and looks as if it is made of wax. His eyes are motionless. As you approach, the black figure almost doubles over as he sweeps into a low bow. The vendor moves with a supernatural delicacy and grace impossible for a human. He extends his arms, also covered in tattoos, toward you. The ink on his palms comes to life and forms the words, "Greetings, I am Krebel's vendor of magical lunatics." The voice of the hand sounds contemplative. I can sense shadows, evil shadows that One served their old master, Veria Vaxus, whom I fought valiantly but had not the strength to defeat. Beware this one champion, for he is linked to powers both formidable and cunning. Something inside you awakens and casts a fiery glance at the slaver. You can see the darkness curling under the thin layer of his skin, or rather a shadow resembling darkness, a demon woven of shadows. The kind of checks are. Who are you and when did you come from? 3 words appear on the vendor's palms, grab us from everywhere. The secretive stranger smiles lifelessly and shrugs. His soft flowing movements are so smooth as to be almost indiscernible, as if he were not a creature of flesh but rather of melting wax. The slaver opens his mouth wide, and you see neither teeth nor tongue inside. The ink on his palm forms the words, I can communicate. What kind of slaves can you offer? With a sudden nod, Krebus points at a group of slaves standing nearby. All of them are completely motionless, their backs unnaturally straight. They seem to be drugged. Their eyes are entirely black without a hint of pupil, and in the depths tiny blue sparks flicker like stars in the night sky. From time to time, some of the slaves utter something uncanny or barely comprehensible, then fall silent again. Tiny ink glyphs begin to appear rapidly on the slaver's palm, as if drawn by a skilled scribe. My lunatics, magical ingredients for ritual sacrifices, dissolved in blood, fermentation finished, distillation finished, deposited into practical self-propelled storage units inside the slaves' bodies, high magic potential. The goods were examined and certified by esteemed Willow. Кой беше този, бе? Approved for trading, Willow. I can sense darkness inside. Не се ли бих по-рано с него? Не беше ли този алхимика, който ни нападна? I can sense darkness inside them, not mundane darkness, which is merely the absence of light, but an embodied darkness that begets evil and possesses awareness instead of being emptiness and nothing. What cursed substances did he pump into these unfortunates? Keep an eye on them, for the darkness inside them waits for the right moment to be born into this world. What have you done to these slaves and why? Snakes made of letters crawl over Krebus' hands. They are no longer slaves, they are vessels of magic. Their bodily fluids were drained and replaced by potions and decoctions imbued with energies. Their dried mummies were filled with the dampness of magic, and their dehydrated brains were filled with the mysteries of the universe. Top quality, Nahidrian, as they say here in Oceania. Добре. Show me your magic wares. The slaver gives you another low bow. One of his eyes suddenly rolls out of its eye socket. With a neat gentle movement, Krebus touches the eyeball and returns it to its normal place, and then he points to his wares. Robe of Malice. Вижте са толкова. Той има някакви магически неща. Plus 5 Ghost Touch, Quarter Staff allows its wearer to cast Vision School spells as if they were 3 levels higher. Трябва да си призная, че и този став е много добър. Нека да сравним. Нашия плюс 3 дава ни 2 DC for all saving throws against spells from the Wilder casts. It also grants the Wilder 4 bonus caster level checks to made to overcome spell resistance. Plus 5 competence bonus to use magic device skill checks. Аз се знам, моят став много ми харесва, често казвам. Дава ми 4 spell penetration, 2 DC на saving throws, но това пък е за illusion spells. Нашите illusion магии са много силни и ако ги кастваме, седно сме 3 левела по-високи, това е много добре. В смисъл, шанса да успеем да се справим, т.е. да направим магията както трябва, е много голям. Phantasmal Guide 92 000. Robe of Malice, 3 dodge bonus to AC and plus 5 to unarmed attack damage rolls. It can be worn only by a monk of lawful evil. Whenever the wearer of these boots casts the same spell for the fourth time during the day, their next spell becomes quickened. Бързичка така. Ring of Imminent Demise. Makes an attack of opportunity, the enemy must pass fortitude saving throw or be knocked down. Плюс 2 competence bonus on attack and damage rolls with two-handed weapons. Ние нямахме ли някакъв такъв пръстен? Много ми е познато това нещо. Unholy Shepherd, да, мисля, че го имаме този. Не, паралелно нямаме този. Този призвава някакви минотаври. However, if you die while wearing this ring, there are summoned too, but now as enemies. Тук имаме ресурси. Ресурси. Райс, моля. Едва ли ще има райс тук. Все пак сме в място, където не би трябвало да има райс. Определено няма райс, за жалост. Добре. Тук има много скролове, много ланди. Gold coin from the flesh markets. Мисля, че тази не е нужно да я купуваме. Може да се налага. Ама не съм сигурен. Ще има в предвид по-скоро. Добре, значи това, което ме кара да се чуя тук е този фантасмал гайд. Стафа за Illusion Magic. Ще го помисляме по-натам. За сега не искам да го купувам някакси. Не ми се дават толкова пари. Не е най-важният артефакт, който съм виждал. Паралелно може би не е за пропускане. Slave Trader с този не можем да си говорим. Army Fit. Раги. Костил, приятелче. Slaves for every need. They don't last long, but the price is right. Пак сейваме. Тук сличките са някакви изключително неприятни типове. Какво да се прави? The Cambion who gives you smarmy bow looks like he once tried to split in two, then changed his mind. His chest is twice as wide as it should be, and double pupils stare at you from each of his eyes. Every time this freakish creature opens his mouth, an impressive goiter swells on his neck. His voice has an unpleasant croaking quality, as if a giant toad had taken up residence in his throat. Would you like to buy some fresh flesh? You can call me Raggy. I'm at your service. Who are you? What are you selling? Everybody calls me Raggy, and the name's just fine by me. I'm the top vendor here at the flesh markets, no matter what the others think. They sell expensive, classy goods, whereas I specialize in rubble and riffraff. My goods cost 10 times less than what the others are selling, but I have 100 times more clients than everyone else. Everybody needs a slave. Cheap, maybe slightly defective, but still a slave. Big shots from the upper city prefer to do business with the others, but so what? The middle city feeds me much better. Raggy raises his voice for the last part. You notice that the demons standing nearby cast cautious glances at the insolently grinding Cambion. It seems this shabby specimen has some authority here after all. Besides, I don't just sell live goods. I sell the stuff that used to belong to these poor fools as well. You'll find some extremely valuable and interesting items among the loot taken during slave raids. With a casual nod toward Amber, the demon grimaces with disgust. Incidentally, I'm willing to take this crippled waif of your hands. If you expect to sell her yourself, don't bother. No one will want to buy such a puny thing, but I can add her to my lot of Galarian slaves. You're mistaken, I'm not for sale, Amber smiles cheerfully. Graeber's voice holds its usual politeness, but his eyes flare with ice-cold anger. Demon, if I hear another word from you about this girl, tomorrow you'll be selling your own brains by the ounce. Casting an assessing glance at the dwarf, the demon stretches his lips in an unutterably wide smile. Your bodyguard has quite a temper. You might wish to tame his tongue, or next time he will mouth off to someone less restrained, and you will be the one to pay for the mistake. Show me your slaves. I can offer you a shipment of Glorian slaves. They certainly aren't in best shape. Glorians are notorious for their fragility, but torturing them sure is fun. As Roy grins, you spotted at least 2 rows of needle-sharp teeth in his mouth. The Glorian slaves are clad in torn rags, their bodies emaciated. Many have wounds and cuts. Their blank indifference to everything happening around them suggests these unfortunates lost any hope of escape long ago. Orishel's presence causes a rumble of discontent among the slaves. She flinches under their angry and hateful gazes. She opens her mouth to say something, but fails to find the right words and just sadly lowers her eyes. Weak bitch, what are you looking at? So she addresses the slave in a soft but resolute manner. Brother, you should not insult her. She has repented and now fights for a righteous cause. She is a good friend and a worthy crusader. I swear to you in Sharon's name. The cleric's words are followed by embarrassed and confused grumbling among the slaves. The succubus eyes turn to Social. They are full of relief and sincere gratitude. A shy smile appears on her lips. Seizing the moment and deftly spitting at the mephit in the cage, Raggy nods at him. If you wish, you can also purchase this little blighter. It won't be of much use, but you can entertain yourself for some time torturing him. He is sharp-tongued and quite resilient. I guarantee you will spend several interesting and pleasant evenings killing this little freak. Chuckling, Raggy watches as the mephit wipes the spit from his face and mutters curses under his breath. The mephit's voice is angry but tinged with respect. Show me the spells you've looted. Видим този какво предлага. Rusty Dawn, Battle Axe, нямаме нужда от Battle Axe, Club, Root Stopper, Crossbow плюс 5 Heavy. Oh. Lands a hit, the enemy must pass will saving throw or become unable to cast spells. За един рунд. Affected enemy is immune to this effect for 3 rounds. Root Stopper, това е много яко. Явам сега Blackened Rocks. This robe grants where 10 competence bonus arcana. It also increases DC of spells from which spell list and hexes by 1. Knowledge arcana, чакайте се. Тя имаше яка броня в момента. It also increases the DC. Така, аз имам form. Force target to make fortitude saving throw that saves increased by 2. It also grants the wearer 2 bonus caster level checks to overcome spell resistance, плюс 4 bonus to concentration checks and spell resistance 18. Че моята броня е много добра. Receive spells from which spell list and hexes by 1. Hexes. Evil Eye мисля, че се брои за хекс. Ако му дигнем ДЦ-та 10 Knowledge Arcana, Blackened Rocks 45 000. И примерно тази роба да я дадеме на... Ама аз пък предпочитам да си имаме Spell Resistance и Spell Penetration. Така че този Blackened Rocks за сега ще го оставим на страни. Call Violence плюс 4 Guns Wearer Aura which grants all enraged allies in the area 2 bonus attack. Нямаме enrage. Това го имам. Quick Draw with ranged weapons against large and bigger enemies. Also got 4 initiative rolls. Quick Draw. Също large creatures. 2 атака и 2 damage. Какво съм ми сложил на Оришел като амулет? Natural Armor. За честно казвам, този амулет в Quick Draw е по-добрият амулет. Отколкото тя да има 3 армор. По-добре да я слагаме damage и атака. Quick Draw. Плюс това инициатива имаме. Този амулет трябва да го помисля също. Звучи много добре. Но тук продължава да има коин. Сега, Slaves from Golarion. Аз мисля, че ние търсахме Slaves от... Смисъл от такива. Pleasure slave. Slave. Шиваро и Динк. Ето с този трябва да говорим. Така. Керс. Този не го знам какъв е. С него трябва да говорим. Добре. Сега първо с него ли да говоря или да пробвам да говоря с Слейва? Първо с него ще говорим, защото не знаем той пък каква работа ще има за нас. A tough-looking demon with a rough cruel face and the hands of a seasoned warrior greets you with a grin. Looking to buy slaves, eh? Me? I've just sold off the shipment I captured during the last raid. I'm Kers, captain of the bloody bitch. Warrior? The demon stares at you in disbelief, then bursts into laughter. Who am I? I'm Kers, known by some as Kers Godstabbed, captain of the legendary bloody bitch. I'm the most famous damn pirate in the Midnight Isles. You must be a landlubber who's never set foot aboard an airship if you haven't heard of me. Do you know Mielara? That no job? Huh. An entire crew must be wimps and weaklings if they haven't slit such a leader's throat or feathered to Ishiar's beasts yet. You can't help but notice that despite Ker's dramatic bravado, a spark of fear gleams in his eyes. Интересно, този пък какво общо има с нея? Tell me more about being a pirate. What exactly do you want to know? The life of a pirate ship captain consists of 4 things. His vessel, his crew, his experience, and Pazazu's patronage, of course. You already have wings of your own. Why do you need a flying ship? Cares eyes you with suspicion, as if searching for signs of mockery in your face. Sure, and what do you propose? I do all the loot, carry it on my back? What about the slaves we took into the cargo hold? The ship is big flying treasure chest, and it also provides a fair amount of cover from arrows and spells that rain down on us during boardings. Tell me about your vessel. Kers grins proudly. You won't recognize my bloody bitch right away by the huge skull decorating her prow. We secured that trophy near Vasgular, and there was a great fight for it. A few other captains wanted to lay their hands on it as well. Aside from the skull, I've done good work on the bloody bitch. You can't find a better attack vessel. Her broadside can take a dragon strike, her 3/4 sails can catch any wind, and her ballista don't rely on lousy spears, only alchemical fire. What kind of crew do you have on board? The toughest rogues and cutthroats you could ever want. They are my hand-picked collection, each one as bad as the next. They are the most notorious rebel, the most infamous scoundrels you could ever find in the abyss, that sell their own mothers into slavery for cheap copper. Turn on me? Never. Nobody else could lend them a better deal than I can. If they ditched me, they wouldn't make it 3 steps before taking a knife in the back. So they've got no choice but to follow me till the end. So how many ships have you plundered? Puffing out his chest a little, the demon offers a fanged, leering grin and answers with all the cutthroat swagger he can muster. The bloody bitch is well known in the Midnight Isles, and her black sails sows terror wherever she goes. I can't count how many poor souls I've sent to Dogon. I was leading the charge, saber in hand, back in days when Velexia was flashing her bare tits in the skies over Lushinir, and when Zaphorian, the old Rapsicalian, ruled the city. As for loot, the treasures that have passed through my hands, and I spend them on booze. Curse beams with pride at this declaration. Tell me thrilling tale. The pirate grins. You like gory stories, eh? Fine. Once we were floating by Migorg, when our lookout spotted the wreckage of a ship caught in a hurricane. So we decided to search for cargo, but instead we only found a sailor who was clutching at the wreckage. We fished him out, brought him to his senses, hung him up on the mast, and questioned him properly. Our ship's cook knows how to loosen tongues with his knife. Long story short, the poor sot spilled that he was a pirate himself. His ship had set sail from one of Alir's deserted islands, where they hid part of their spoils. We smell the windfall, so we rushed to Alir. But Alir, that place, isn't for the faint-hearted. Predatory vines, carnivals, flowers that breathe out clouds of poisonous pollen, and walking bushes that surround you, pounce on you, and sting you with thorns till you die. Oh, and did I mention toxic springs? Or the flies that crawl into your ears while you sleep and lay their eggs inside your brain, driving you insane. All in all, the place was a nightmare, and we found ourselves right in the middle of it all. 3 times our prisoner told us where to check for the stash. Each time we dug, but all we found was dirt and bones. By the third attempt, that damned island had already wiped out half the crew. We realized that asshole was playing us, so we got him. You know what we saw then? All his entrails were covered with whitish mold and overgrown with some spongy fungus. His heart, his guts, his brain, the gunk was everywhere. According to our ship's dock, that fungus controlled every one of the sailor's steps. He got infected on Alir, then he left the island to lure in fresh fodder for the plants. We fled as fast as we could, but for a long time. I couldn't believe those damn weeds got so smart. They were able to trick us. Растенията ще ги прецакат, бац. You mentioned Pazazu quite often. Do you worship him? Sure I do. Only total idiots don't worship the demon lord of the sky and winged creatures. Well, at least if we are talking about Argonauts. All the storms, wind, currents, and beasts who feed on those currents. They all bend to his will. That's why I bombard Lord Pazazu with my prayers as often as I can. Have no more questions. May Pazazu fill your sails with wind, stranger, but no more than mine. Така. Jun the Slave Trader, a grotesquely fat demon, speaks to a demon standing in front of him. His voice irritated yet slightly sycophantic. If you want to get these sweet Asimars for the 10,000 delights, cough up 50,000. Just look at how delicious they are. These girls haven't yet been whipped. Your clients will be clamoring for them, and after they become too worn out, they'll make a magnificent stew. I'll give you 30 if you stop talking rubbish, Dunk, or keep going, and you can steer clear of my place of delights, or my palace of delights. You can pleasure yourself on your own, you fat chunk of rotten meat. Do you want to get on Shivaro's bad side? Do you really want that? The Asimar slaves standing nearby try to avoid looking at the angry demons. Even in their miserable position, they retain the mark of inner purity and nobility inherent to their kind. Puffing himself up, the fat demon answers abruptly and angrily. 50,000 for these delightful innocent creatures your shabby and worn-out demoness can't hope to compare with. That is my final offer. Stay away from the 10,000 delights. You can have your own little morsel's pleasure. You from now on, you greedy horny piece of shit. The disgusting fleshy demon greets you with a wave, his arm encased in raw after raw fat. Allow me to present my living wares, the finest household slaves to serve you and entertain your body and spirit. I then can sedate even the most exquisite carvings. The demon accompanies his last claim with vulpurous lip-smacking, looking pleased. Who are you? I'm Jun the Slave Trader. When I was younger and much slimmer, I was dashing raider. I spent my days abducting concubines from other planes for the harems of the most powerful lords of the abyss. My experience, however, has shown me that raising and training pleasure slaves from an early age is much more profitable and much less risky business. That's why I now own the largest and most respectable slave farm, where I breed representatives of various races from different planes. Though I haven't entirely given up the raiding. His deceptively slow movements and soft folds of flesh failed to hide the powerful muscles beneath. This demon could likely lift a wagon with 2 horses by himself. What are you arguing about with that demoness? She wanted to buy my beautiful Aasimar concubines for her palace of pleasures. Then 10,000 delights. Unfortunately, her common sense and good taste couldn't compare with her greed. She offered me a paltry price, next to nothing, instead of gratefully paying the full sum for these slaves, offering 30,000 for a group of innocent pure Aasimars, shipped here with the utmost care. No one has laid a single finger on them. No one has taken a single bite out of them. It's simply outrageous. Show me what you have for sale. Just feast your eyes upon them, the most exquisite pleasure slaves raised in comfort and luxury at your service. They are well trained, neat, docile, and stand ready to become ideal servants for your manor. All of them are young and healthy, in a perfect state of ripeness. The demon bursts into sickening cackling and then whispers to you confidently. Of course, we have made sure that their tender flesh meets the expectations of even the most demanding gourmet. They have no inkling of what awaits them, so you need not worry about fear spoiling the meat, making it tough and bitter. Beautiful, athletic, and well-groomed young men and women of different races smile sweetly at you. Their cheerful looks aren't marred by the slightest hint of intelligence. These slaves remind you of a happy and well-fed sheep grazing in the pasture. The slaver's eyes widen, and he starts to speak, nearly hyperventilating. Just recently, one of my slave hunting crews returned, bringing me a most beautiful gift, a group of young, fresh, pure Aasimar girls, full of mouth-watering innocence. All of them are beauties in their prime, caught with utmost care, unwounded. Shamira will take an interest in them, I wager, because of her origin. She loves having her fun with Aasimars. There are countless ways one can use such a valuable acquisition, though, if you ask me, the smartest way is to treat yourself to a medium rare fillet with rich, meaty gravy. The Aasimar women look pale and scared, but even in captivity they manage to retain their dignity and refuse to let the demons savor their fear. As Jun continues his new sitting commentary, they raise their chins higher and do their best to maintain cold, detached expressions. I'll buy the Aasimar slaves. Oh, I see you're a connoisseur. I'd like to warn you about these little birds who will cost you a pretty penny. Their price carried off the madam of the 10,000 delights, but for Shamira, to whom I intend to sell these fresh Aasimar's beauties, 50,000 is spare change. I'm willing to sell them to you for the same price. If we do not intervene, these women will be doomed by the celestial blood that flows in their veins. There is nothing more tantalizing for a demon than befouling, abusing, and destroying any being with ties to the upper planes. We have no right to stand by and leave these unfortunates to a terrible fate of torture and death. 50,000 deal. The fat demon glows with happiness. You won't regret it. In the abyss, goods like these are rarity. I wish you the most exquisite enjoyment of your purchase. If you wish, I can give you an excellent recipe for braised shanks. Just send one of your household slaves along to pick it up. The demon winks at you and looks at the Aasimars with palpable longing. The slaves stare at you with a mixture of hope and fear in their eyes. Their faces drain of color as they wait for you to seal their fate. Not far from here, an Aasimar is waiting for you. Go find him, he will provide you with shelter. The Aasimar women look at you, their expressions piercing. You see a mixture of gratitude and awe in their eyes. Thank you, stranger. We did not expect any help in this terrible place. We will not forget it. Така. Good. Сега обаче аз имам едно притеснение. Знаете ли какво стана? Ние хубаво направихме тия неща така. Обаче по никакъв начин аз не разбрах този тип дали всъщност наистина е добър. Който се занимаваше с тях. А трябваше, разбира. Не, това определено няма да дойде насам. Може би по-скоро трябва да отида ето тук, да се кача и след това да се телепортирам в тази посока. Не съм сигурен. Така. Качваме се горе. Тук също имаше нещо, което трябваше да свършим. Отвори се. Сезами. Аре бе? Добре, какво става сега? Ма такъв ток, бе. Добре, бе, чакай, какво става? Аз не мога да се разправя с това, но извиня. Не. Я да видим какво ще стане тук вътре. Ще почне да се притеснявам. Аз всъщност уж ги спасих. Този тип тук дали наистина иска да ги спаси, а? Защо се бъфи така нещо? Greetings, good sir. Did the prisoners I freed manage to get to your house? Thank you for your mercy and generosity. I have sheltered and cared for them to the best of my ability. Being a slave was a huge shock to these women. Despite being among friends, they still struggle with the consequences of their ordeal. The girls you freed remain silent. Their eyes hold a quiet and grim resignation that wasn't there before. The demons examine you. Their gaze is bold, avaricious and imperious. Their leader is misshapen demon whose facial features exhibit not even a passing acquaintance with symmetry. Issues a commanding bark. Shut up everyone and get on the ground. On your stomachs, turn out your pockets. Perhaps we will settle for taking your gold and spare your lives. But you, my sweet morsel, will be leaving with us in pieces. The demon grins malevolently at Ludwig. Behind the chatty demon, a huge Vavakia stares sleepily at his feet. A large cloudy crystal sticks out of his chest. Several smaller crystals have broken through his skin in several places, like young saplings bursting forth from the earth's embrace. A slimy fringe of thick red saliva hangs from the monster's slack jaw. He gives a surprised snort, then grunts shyly at you. I'm being threatened by a rabble who dare call themselves assassins. In Daggermouth, not even a 3-year-old child will be fooled by this. It's an unbearable professional insult. Killing them is a matter of principle. Who are you? Demon with the lopsided face spits on the floor, then replies cockily. We are the best in the Assassin's Guild. Mess with us and we'll mess you up. Why did you come here? Demon's finger is crooked as his ugly mug points at Latva. This Asimar misfit has made a certain someone very angry. So angry, they put a large bounty on his head, which is why we're going to gut him. Festoon this dismal hovel with garlands made of his entrails, then play ball with his stupid little noggin. Point at the Valakia standing behind Demise. Was that brute tagging along with you? This? Oh, this here is our gouger. We found him in the sewers below Oceanera, barely breathing. We were going to cut his throat, but he's so adult. He's tame enough and mighty strong. Someone must have scrambled his brains real hard. Now everybody knows not to screw with us, or we wake Gauger up, and then they are done for. The demon glances at the Valkyria with mingled pride and wariness. You're not assassins, you're just a common rabble. The demon's lose their bravado and exchange nervous glances taken back by the steel in your voice. The leader of this band of misfits finally mutters in a shaky voice. Well, maybe not assassins per se, but it sounds more intimidating. Fools shit their pants when they hear it, so we don't even have to shunk them. But you, sir, are no fool, that much I can see. Folks, let's not bother the nice gentleman. We'll just turn around and be on our merry way, then, shall we? The demon's tone takes on air of groveling. By the time he's done speaking, he's practically pleading with you. Who sent you? We don't know her name. Everybody calls her Red Mask, because that's what she always wears. We have no idea who or what she is beneath the mask. She sits in the bad luck all day, guzzling bulls like there's no tomorrow. Who's this Red Mask? Damned if I know. Some kind of a woman, definitely not a demon. She's not of yours, an outsider. She's one of yours, an outsider. But she's got an edge to her, and her mask is scary as anything. Знаете ли какво си мисля аз обаче? Аз мисля да ги пребием тия. I think I will kill you after all. No, don't hurt us. We got the hint. Let's get out of here. Lotwork folds his hands in a gesture of prayer, wailing in utter despair. I beg you, please protect me. Unless she stops, Red Mask will get to me. And even worse, to my wards. I do not fear death, but these girls must not be hurt again. I cannot put an end to Red Mask's depravity. But you can. I appeal to your mercy. Find her and stop her once and for all. Who is this Red Mask? I haven't the slightest idea. No doubt some villain displeased by my attempts to save my kin from slavery. Perhaps a dark soul that revels in crime and the suffering it brings. I have never met this creature before. I'll deal with her. The Asmar allows himself a weak smile. You have a generous and courageous heart. I will be praying for your success. Този тип обаче нещо почва да ме съмнява, нали? Ама така силно ме съмнява. Да ви кажа аз. Какъв е този Willow тука? Някакъв горе, така е. Аха. Тук трябва да скачим по някакъв начин. Обаче аз не виждам как трябва да стане това. В общи линии трябва да отидем да се телепортираме. Това е такова. Виждам аз. Тук има нещо. Да, тук е нещо за поставяне, обаче няма какво да поставяме там на този етап. Горе има някакви... Виж като такова за... като съмънинг неща. Аз мога да се телепортирам ето тук горе. Тук можем ли да отидем всъщност? Не, тук май не можем да отидем всъщност. Всъщност даже въобще не можем да отидем там. Тук какво беше сега? Как отивахме на другата страна? Оп, така. Аз искам да се телепортирам от тук горе, за да видим какво се случва. Тук пасаж има някакви демони тежки. Да, тук ще има тежки демони. Нищо, ние трябва да ги... някой трябва да ги убие, така че... За сега ще сме ние. Не, те са комон, интересно. Имаме нови черкана тук, някакъв слейв. Това, 100%. Дайте да видим какъв артефакт се крие тук. Нещо интересно за жалост. Така, сега нови черкана. правим едно сейфче, че не знаем колко ще бъде арканата. В смисъл, тук напише. The inhabitants of ocean here seem to enjoy the abundance of lava around them. Demons are not immune to fire. They just like to live close to such a destructive element. Да, вярно, нещо другото. Чакайте са. Ние тук горе бяхме. Аз си мислех, че мога да се... Аз си мислех, че някакси мога да се качим тук. Има ли шанс да се качим там всъщност? Май не. Това се издига тук. А тук горе няма никакъв път всъщност за това ковчеженце. Тоест това е едно от тези ковчежата, които трябва да се телепортира нагоре, за да стане много. Аз колко телепорта имам сега? С как ще видя така? Нямам идея. 2 телепорта. Добре, това е значи добър момент да дойдем до там. Може би. Да видим дали мога директно от тук долу да се телепортирам горе. В принцип го виждаме мястото. Сега ще видим дали ще ни се получи работата. Мас. Не мога тук да се телепортирам обаче. Поради някаква причина. Оп. Може някъде. Тук. Че нещо се сбъгнах. Почти се сбъгнясахме, бе. Тук някакъв лава е жесток. О, не, бе. Вижте какво е имало тук, е така. Чакайте се. Аз сейвнах по едно време. Дайте, че го направим по умния начин. Няма да си хабиме телепорта, защото ще се телепортираме примерно там по-назад, където беше. Сега ще го направим по по-умния начин. Аз пък как не съм го видял това, или съм го видял, но бързах да правя нещо друго тогава. Тук понатрупахме малко квестове. Сега, червената маска беше в Слъмс, в таверната. Се спомням аз, че я видяхме. Така. Да, тук всичко е точно. Сега трябва да слезем тук долу. През портала. Сега ще отидем на другия портал. Така. Сега. Ето тук могло да се качим. То не може да се качиме. Могло е само да слезем. Че груба работа. Добре, разбрах. Окей, хубаво. Значи само се прецакахме. Така. Сейфче, за да не вземе да прецакаме пиклока. Triumph of Pain. Даже хванахме и цялата работа. Добре. И сега какво излиза всъщност? Ние успяхме да се качим даже и по-нагоре. Ето тук трябва да се телепортираме. Тук има някакви... Ще има някакви противници в този окръг. Сега спасихме това. Тук имаме портала. Тук имаме портал. Аз мисля, че вече този портал можем да го използваме, за да се телепортираме, защото си купихме... Вижте какво забравих тук да направя аз. Я чакайте са. Как се връщаме в... Тук трябваше да има портал, нали така? Портал даун. Къде беше той? Ето. А тук всъщност е пътя към Upper City. И аз само да огледаме тук какво става. Макар че аз ако отида на там мога да стане сега някакъв фал. Но нищо, дайте да огледаме така и така сме тук. Да. Добре. Ние не бързаме да отиваме до Deeper Quarter, защото без това успяхме да отидем без да се налагаме да минаваме през вратата. Ще видим по-натам дали ще ни пуснат. Сега искам да слеземе долу при Slave Traderите отново, много набързо, преди да приключим епизода. Айде бе. Стига се сбъгнясваме такова. И искам сега от тук да минем долу. To the Flash Markets. Така. Големи бъгове, голямо човек. Сега, къде беше? Ето я стената. Ето тук. Сега трябва да скачим горе. Тук има няколко опции за качване, така че започваме да се опитваме да се катерим. Почти успяхме да сме навсякъде в града, бе. О, вау, това стана от първи път. Стига. Интересно. И сега тук какво? Сега от тук слизането е сложно. Тоест само мога да паднем и да се изпотрепваме на време. 42 мобилити. От тук със сигурно ще се пребием сега. Няма как. Усещам аз. Просто нямаме... Много ни е малко мобилитите. Нямаме човек с много мобилити. Това е истината. Тук се изисква адски много. Какво става сега? Да, пребихме се. Пребихме се, обаче пък поне демиджа беше така поносим. За жалост няма да вземем експириенс от цялата работа. Ама няма проблеми, така че всичко е наред. Добре. Мисля, че тук като цяло приключихме с флеш маркета. Сега какво искам да направя? Аз исках да дойда насам по някакъв начин. Обаче това място тук мога да видя откъде евентуално може би от тук да отидем насам. Тук въобще дали се ходи също така въпроса. Определено мисля, че от тук няма да можем. Няма да видим отсам да стане. Мисля, че тук е някакси края на нещата. Така. Камон. Я да видим дали тук може да се случи нещо такова или не. Не, това май не отива на никъде. Това просто си такова си витая във въздуха. Само лошото е, че аз искам някакси да го разкрия, защото на мене ми изглежда се, но може да се ходи там. Ето тук какво има. Някакви клетки, неща. Ние обаче на там не можем да отидем. Добре. Аз дали въобще цъкам върху това нещо? Не, да. Не можем да отидем на там. Добре, жалко. В такъв случай да. Приключихме тук. Портала. Сега, да, аз трябва да използвам портала, за да се върнем и да направим рест и да сформираме плана за как ще действаме. Също така трябва да направим корекции по партито, с което сме в момента, защото за да влезем в Delights трябва да не сме с Оришел. След това трябва да видим Харема. Също така трябва да се върнем в The Slums, за да оправим там нещата, които имаше да оправим. И ето тук само не съм се телепортирал горе на покривите. Сега за съжаление обаче аз не мога и да се телепортирам на там, защото после няма да мога да слезем долу. Освен ако не използвам скрол, аз не искам да използвам скролове. Имаше ли някой друг с... с такава магия телепортиращ. Имам някакъв спомен, че... Имам бегал спомен, че някой друг имаше телепорта. Ама явно съм се объркал. Или по-скоро не съм го сложил в нещата. Добре, значи ще оставяме нещата така. Това ще бъде всичко от този епизод. Благодаря ви, че гледахте. Надявам се да ви е било забавно. Желая всичко хубаво и чао, чао.